I was on OkCupid. I was talking to a guy. He seemed interesting. I was just flipping through because I scroll on everybody and say yes, pretty much, unless you just really like stand out with like the face tattoos, the neck tattoos, and all that stuff. And this one guy, it was like he was short. I normally go for tall. I gave him a chance, and then I even talked to him. I gave him a number. Wait, no, actually, I didn't give him a number. I asked him for his number, and because I don't give out my number, I use a Google Voice number because people are crazy. And yeah, there was this one guy I was talking to. He seemed nice and interesting, and he said weird stuff. He was looking for somebody dominant. I'm like, I'm not dominant. He was like, I really like you. He was an older Indian man. It was weird. He wasn't like that old. He was like in his 40s, but he was strange after I started talking to him. And then he was saying that I thought you were dominant. And I'm like, nope, not really. I'm pretty passive. And then he was like, okay. I was like, okay. And then we start talking. And then he came out because I'm like, I'm not looking to date any men that are divorced or with children. I'm not even really that into guys with animals. And he comes out after a while and he's like, oh, I have 2 adult children. And he's like, I'm divorced and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, so you tricked me because I'm not interested in being a dominatrix. I'm not interested in a married man. I mean, wait, no, he's not married, but he was divorced, but he had 2 adult children that weren't too far off from my age. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not interested in that. And I'm like, I was just looking for a husband, someone to get married with and have kids with. And like these men, they will hide children. Because like sometimes you're talking to people and they're like, oh, I don't have any kids. And then it didn't work out. But then you see them on like the dating app like a couple weeks later and they're like, oh, I have a child. I'm like, I just talked to you a few weeks ago. When did you have a child? And I talked to you maybe 6, 7 weeks ago, and you're like, "Oh, I have a 2 week old." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" So I always find it important to ask, "How many people do you currently have pregnant? How many children are you denying? How many paternity tests are you going through?" And all this stuff. Yeah, because I just say no to the face tattoos and all this stuff, the facial piercings and all this crazy stuff that people are doing. And I do not know where to find a man still because they seem crazy as hell. But one thing I like to do in my pictures, I don't like to look nice. I like to look bad. Because if you like me when I look bad, and you will see me looking bad, you're not going to tell me I look bad if you see me in my pictures and I look bad. So when I show up and I look better, you'll be like, oh, you look good. You look really good. And it's like, huh, okay. Yeah, and then another thing, at my age, I don't know why am I seeing so many men with like wrinkles and gray hair and crow's feet and stuff. And these men, they're like my age or not too much older than me or younger than me. And I'm like, why do you look so damn old? Are you lying about your age? And then they'll, like, I even had somebody accuse me of Botox before. And it's like, no, I didn't have Botox. I don't dye my hair or anything. And they're like, I don't believe you. You're the age that you say you are. They're questioning about my age because they don't believe I'm the age that I say that I am. And my ID says it. Because I'm like, yeah, I don't believe you're the age that you say you are. You're saying you're my age and I don't believe it because you look hella old. I'm like, you look older than my parents. And then the pictures where they'll post pictures on their profile. And then it's like, okay, if I see a woman in the picture, I'm like, okay, I'm probably just going to avoid this because that might be your wife. And you're looking for a threesome. And it's like, you didn't say that, but then who knows? And it's like, okay, why is this woman in all your pictures? And it's like, you say nothing about this. Or then when they post the pictures and they're showing their wedding rings, and it's like, huh, this is like weird. Because my ex, I saw him, he was on Badoo, and it was like, okay, this is weird. Why are you on here? Because I didn't know he was married at the time. We never met up or anything, but I didn't know he was married. And it wasn't like we were like all that deep in a relationship because he was with me before he was with her. And then basically I found out, once I found out he was married, when I found out how long they were together, the whole time he was dating his wife, he was trying to get back with me. And before he married her, he told me he wanted to have a baby with me and get married. But he married her and they've been married years and he has no children and they're older than me. And then just a few days ago, while I was sick, I was just on Badoo seeing how things are going. And then he like looks at my profile or messages me or something. And then I'm like, why don't you go talk to your wife? You don't like me. You chose your wife. But then it was like, after, because it was like, we went out for a while. We never like really did anything, but we went out for a while. And then I'm like, oh, I dodged a bullet because this guy, I'm not sure what's going on in his marriage, but I realized he had a small penis. So I was like, oh, I'm good with it. Because I thought he was like the one that got away at one point once I found out he got married. But then I was like, oh, I dodged that bullet. And then I found out he had a small penis. So it was like, oh, that's great. And then I don't think he makes that much money where if I did end up marrying him, I probably would have had to support him. Yeah, because I don't think he makes that much money, and his wife doesn't have a job either. And they live out in the middle of nowhere where it's like super cheap. In what looked like maybe like a guest house on somebody's property, and it's like, hell no, I'm not doing that. But if you like, watch and subscribe. Just make sure you know what to look for. Check for the wedding rings. You see a woman in a picture, those might be his exes. That might be his child. That might be his wife. The ring you see, he's like, oh, I just like to wear a ring on that finger. That ring looks like a wedding ring. But one funny thing is, because like JC Penney's, they'll have jewelry sales all the time, and like I'll buy like their $25 diamonds sometimes because I'm like, oh, that's cute, I'll put it on my finger. Or I'll just buy like a nice ring that's a couple of $1,000 or whatever. And like I'll wear a nice necklace too. And because I'll put a ring on like all different fingers, and then sometimes I'll put it on my ring finger, and then guys will see it, but there's no engagement ring. It's like a ring, but no like wedding band most of the time. And then guys will be like, "Oh, I kind of thought you were married," and I'm like, "No, no, I just bought a pretty ring." And, and they're checking to see if I'm married, and it's like, huh, interesting. So I don't know what's going on out there, but it sounds crazy. But if you like, watch and subscribe. Bye.